Good afternoon, everyone. My report is the second part of Chapter 6, Culture and Personality. Without further ado, let's begin with the discussion. On the first part of the lesson, some researchers stated that the FFM or yung five-factor model of personality, yung five traits na included dito are not the only traits na nag-exist. Merong other new lines of research ang na-conduct outside the United States. Interpersonal Relatedness by Chong and colleagues 2001. They start with the idea that FFM were missing some important features of personality, especially in dealing with relationship na central sa China. So, they develop an indigenous scale para ma-measure yung personality na mayroon sa China. There are 6 traits na listed sa book. First one is harmony. In Chinese, has something to do with human relationship. Also, the relationship between human and nature. It's all about finding the right balance in different situations para ma-obtain nila yung peace. And harmony can be found in different contexts, such as harmony with their family. Ito yung pag-show nila ng respect, lalong-lalo na sa mas nakakatanda sa kanila, and harmony towards nature, which is pinapahalaga nila yung kanilang surroundings in order to maintain an appropriate balance. Thus, yung harmony, ito yung pakikiayon ng bawat isa to prevent conflict and to achieve an equilibrium. Next one is yung wrenching, relationship orientation. Ito yung pagbibigay natin ng favor sa isang tao. Pag ginawa natin ito, may tendency din natin natanaw nila rito as utang na loob in which kapag ikaw na may nangailangan, hindi sila mag-hesitate na tulungan kanila pabalik. Dahil sa wrenching, dito na-develop nila yung good relationship or connection nila sa tao. Next one is the modernization. As time goes by, nagkakaroon ng pagbabago sa kanilang practices. Thus, nagkakaroon din ng changes sa kanilang personality para makasunod sila o magkaroon sila ng adjustment sa changes ng mga practices nila sa kanilang society. Thrift versus extravagance, dito sinasabi na mas binibigyan nilang halaga yung pagiging matipid or yung pag-iipon ng pera, which is contrast naman siya sa tinatawag na willingness to spend money. Next one is yung AQ mentality. Based ito sa isang Chinese novel. May bidang lalaki na name niya ay si AQ. Si AQ ay isang bully sa mga less fortunate sa kanya, but takot siya sa mga taong may matataas na posisyon or mas malakas sa kanya. Doon sa pagkilos ng main character na si AQ, nasasalamin dito yung mga different defense mechanisms na pinapakita or ginagamit ng mga Chinese when they are in an undesirable situations. Next one is yung face. In Chinese means nuance. Anong mukha yung gusto mong ipakita sa tao? And ginagamit nila itong nuance or yung face in order to have a good connection with other people, especially sa mga prestige na tao. And inaalagaan nila yung kanilang face in order to gain respect. For instance of losing a face naman, in Chinese people, if a woman smoke or drink alcohol, it was a big loss of her face dahil taluwas ito sa tinatawag nilang social rule and hindi ito yung pag-uugaling ine-expect sa mga Chinese women. Yung mga dimensions daw meron ng mga ito ay tinatawag ni Chang ng interpersonal relatedness. Though yung studies daw na ito ay conducted only around China and Hong Kong, may mga ilang studies din na nagsasabi na nag-exist din daw ang mga dimensions na ito sa other countries such as Singapore, Hawaii, Midwestern United States, and so on. Filipino personality structure. Here's another line of research conducted by Church and colleagues in which they identified as many as they could yung mga traits na nag-exist sa Filipino language, and they used Filipino students as their respondents and asked them to rate those traits. As a result, dito nila na-identified na hindi daw 5 kundi 7 na dimensions ang makakapag-describe ng Filipino personality. And these are the two, temperamentalness and self-assurance. Kapag sinabing ikaw ay temperamental na tao, yung mood mo kadalasang mabilis magbago. Kumbaga, moody ka. Kapag meron ka namang self-assurance, means confidence ka sa sarili mo. May tiwala ka sa mga bagay na sinasabi mo or ginagawa mo kasi alam mo yung mga abilities mo. And yung findings dito ay similar din daw sa studies na conducted sa mga Spanish-speaking sample in Europe. Next is they also have another studies wherein they use Filipino Indigenous Personality Scales, which includes
463 traits.
adjectives, and a Filipino version of NEO-PI-R to measure the FFM. And in these studies, they asked 511 college students in the Philippines as their respondents. The results of this study showed that merong iba pang indigenous factors na makikita sa personality dimensions ng mga Filipino. So here are some of the examples of the factors. One is pagkamadaldal, social curiosity. Two is pagkamapagsapalaran, risk-taking, and religiosity. And yung mga traits daw na ito ay importante daw sa pag-predict ng mga behaviors gaya ng smoking, drinking, gambling, and so on. Dominance. In the mid-20th century, may mga European psychologists na nakadiscover ng existence ng authoritarianism personality. And itong dimension na ito ay related daw sa concept ng dominance. Dominance means in psychology, ito yung disposition ng isang individual to assert control in dealing with other people. Furthermore, based sa book, ang mga tao daw ay nagkakaiban sa pagre-rely nila sa mga authority and hierarchical status. Si Husband von Locke in 1993, nag-analyze ng data sa 1,300 individuals in Denmark, Netherlands. They found 6 dimensions wherein yung 5 dito ay related sa FFM. May isa dito na hindi related, and ito yung tinatawag na authoritarianism, which is related siya sa dominance. Sa isang study naman by King and Figueredo, conducted a study in 1997 in which they presented 42 trait adjectives na mayroong representative na item sa FFM. And yung respondents nila dito, yung mga zoo trainers na nagtatrabaho kasama ng mga chimpanzees sa 12 na zoos. Dito, i-describe nila yung mga chimpanzees kung ano yung mga adjectives na nakalagay sa list nila. The results indicated that may isang factor na nagko-correspond sa dominance. Thus, dominance is said to be an inherited trait among animals. Next is the social dominance theory. Sa theory na ito, sinasabi yung importance ng social dominance as a stable personality trait across culture. Means yung isang individual sa iba't ibang culture na mayroon nito ay hindi nagbabago or stable itong traits na ito sa kanya. Yung na-research ko na some causes daw ng stability ng personality can be due to genetics, environmental factors, and so on. Furthermore, based on this study, yung mga cultural ideologies daw natin or yung mga paniniwala natin sa ating kultura na may nasa tingin natin ito yung nagiging explanation sa mga particular na kaayusan sa ating society. For instance, sa Pilipinas, gaya ng ideologies natin na kaloob ng Diyos, lihi, sumpa, na maligno, ito daw yung mga nagiging reasons kung bakit daw nagkakaroon ng intergroup behavior such as the discrimination and prejudice. And yung scale na widely used to measure these ideologies ay tinatawag na social dominance orientation scale. And yung paghahanap pa ng other universal traits ay hindi naman nakaka-contradict sa concept ng FFM. Instead, nakakadagdag pa daw ang mga ito. And may mga questions pa rin na hindi nare-resolve dahil dun sa notion na ano daw ba yung dimensions ng personality na hindi pa na-discover na nag-exist sa iba pang mga culture. And therefore, may mga indigenous approaches na na-develop para mapag-aralan yung mga traits sa mga countries like India, Korea, Russia, and Greece. And at the same time, may mga evidence rin mula sa mga illiterate indigenous societies na nagsasabi na yung FFM daw was not applicable in this type of societies. Now, I am done with the discussion of personality traits. Now, let's proceed to the other dimension of personality that has something to do with its concept. Locus of control. It was developed by Rutter in 1954-1966. Locus means location where something happens, and control means the power to determine outcomes. And when we say locus of control, ito yung belief ng isang individual about sa lawak na control na meron sila sa mga bagay na nakakaapekto sa kanila. Bawat individual may mga magkakaibang beliefs about sa control na meron sila sa kanilang behavior at relationship either sa environment or with other people. Locus of control can be internal or external. Internal locus of control, yung mga taong meron nito is nagbe-base yung kanilang success or failure sa kanilang sariling effort or action. And they believe na kaya nilang kontrolin yung kanilang buhay. For instance, naniniwala yung isang tao na magkakaroon lang siya ng mataas na grades kung mag-e-effort siya na mag-aral. And when we say external locus of control, yung tao naman ay nagbe-base ng kanilang success or failure sa mga outside influences. For instance, yung isang individual nakatanggap siya ng promotion. He or she believed that because of luck, fate, or yung supervisor's benevolence, yun yung dahilan kung bakit siya na-promote. In terms of failure naman, for example, bumagsak yung isang individual sa exam niya, sa internal locus of control, sinisisi niya yung sarili niya kung bakit siya bumagsak. And pag sinabi nung nasa external locus of control, biniblame niya yung ibang tao sa paligid niya or di kaya iniisip niya na malas or hindi lang siya swerte nung time na nag-take siya ng exam. And based on a research, yung mga European Americans, sila yung mayroong higher internal locus of control. And in terms of cultures naman, yung mga nasa mainstream American cultures na nagvo-value ng individuality, separateness, and uniqueness, they tend to use internal locus of control. And yung mga nasa non-mainstream American cultures naman na naniniwala sa faith, luck, supernatural forces, or relationships with others, sila naman yung gumagamit ng external locus of control. In studying locus of control and external locus of control, there's still gaps na hindi pa nabibigyan ng kasagutan, such as self-serving bias or defensive attributions na sinasabi nila na ang mga Americans kapag may nangyaring hindi maganda sa kanila, pinapasa nila yung responsibility nila sa ibang tao. Also, some researchers said that locus of control is a multifaceted construct spanning different domains such as achievements, work, interpersonal relationship, and so on. And nagkakaiba daw ito depende sa gender at status across culture. So here's another way of understanding control across culture. Yamaguchi provided four types of culture. First one is the direct control. Yung self yung nag-act as an agent in which nag-increase yung tiwala natin sa sarili nating abilities, lalo na kapag nakikita natin na meron tayong chance na mag-success sa isang bagay. For instance, sa isang raffle draw sa year nyo, napansin mo na yung iba is merong tigsa 10 tickets. Tapos ikaw, meron kang 100 tickets. So dito pa lang, ina-assume mo na kaagad na mas may chances ka mapanalunan yung grand prize since lamang ka sa tickets. And ayun yung tinatawag na meron kang direct control sa isang event. And prevalent itong control na ito sa culture ng United States since nakafocus sila sa pag-value ng independence and autonomy. Indirect control naman, dito yung isang individual ay nagpapanggap na hindi siya yung agent or yung nag-cause ng isang outcome. One example in the book, a rakugo, a Japanese word means comic story. May isang master na naiinis sa kanyang disciple kasi kumakanta ito ng malakas. So, ang ginawa ng master is sinaway niya yung kanyang disciples, pero sa pamamaraang pinuri niya ito ng malakas. And dito, tumahimik yung disciple. Yung pinaka-purpose talaga ng master nila is patahimikin niya yung kanyang disciple. Sa ganung paraan kasi, hindi gusto nung master na mapahiya yung kanyang disciple ng diradyuhan. And ang indirect control ay prevalent sa mga culture na nag-value ng interpersonal harmony, such as Japan, na mas prefer nila na pinapalagan nila yung good relationship nila sa tao. Next one is yung proxy control. Ito naman yung pagdepend ng isang individual sa isang authority na mas may power or kakayahan sa kanya para ma-achieve niya yung kanyang benefits. For instance, yung mga parents, considered sila as powerful persons na kaya nilang ibigay yung wants ng kanilang mga anak. Thus, yung kanilang mga anak would ask their parents to buy him or her expensive toys. Or yung another example naman is about sa promotion na yung isang subordinate would ask his or her boss para makipag-usap sa kanilang chief executive officer para matulungan yung subordinate na mabigyan ng promotion. Next one is the collective control. Dito naman ina-attempt nilang kontrolin yung isang environment sa pamamagitan ng pag-act ng isang individual as a member ng group. Dito, mayroong harmony, mabilis nilang ma-achieve yung isang goal kasi tulong-tulong sila. As you can see in this graph, yung mga culture daw na nag-value ng autonomy, they tend to use direct personal control strategy. And yung mga culture naman na nag-value ng maintenance of harmony, they use indirect personal, proxy, and collective control strategies. Autonomy, the self-determination theory, ito yung theory na nagdi-discuss sa autonomy. And autonomy, ito yung pagiging independent natin sa sarili nating thoughts or action or yung tinatawag na self-rule. Self-determination theory states that people from all cultures share basic psychological needs for autonomy, competence, and relatedness. But yung mga specific ways daw sa pag-achieve or pagpapakita nito ay nagkakaiba depende sa context and culture. According sa studies ni na Marcus and Kitayama, people of collectivistic cultures are not autonomous. And according naman sa studies nila Desi and Ryan, there is a large distinction among autonomy, individualism, independence, and separateness. In addition, according sa self-determination theory, yung tao daw ay nagiging autonomous kapag willing sila sa behavior na pinapakita nila at supported ito ng mga tao sa kanilang paligid. Next is yung opposite ng autonomy, which is what we call heteronomy, which means yung action or behavior ng isang tao ay kontrolado or naiimpluwensyahan ng ibang tao. Indigenous personalities. When we talk about indigenous personalities, these are the personalities na specific or limited lang sa isang culture. Kumbaga, dun sa specific culture na yon, dun lang siya nag-exist. And in testing and examining their concept of personalities, they use what we call non-standardized methods na limited rin daw sa mga specific na culture. Pero kapag sinabi namang standardized methods of personality, ito naman yung pwedeng gamitin sa lahat. Kasi included dito yung mga universal traits. Yung importance daw ng pag-aaral ng ganito ay nalalaman natin yung contributions ng bawat culture. Dahil nagkakaroon tayo ng ideas kung paano namumold yung kanilang mga unique concepts of personalities. And ito yung mga list ng personalities na considered as culture specific, such as the Arabs, North Alaskan Eskimos, Japanese, Ulam of Nigeria, Irula of Palangay, Samoans, South African Indians, Igbo of Nigeria. Sa African model of personality naman, biniview nila yung personality nila consisting of 3 layers. Yung first layer is yung spiritual principle. Ito yung principle na tumutulong sa kanila kung paano maging better person. Included dito yung pag-show nila ng humility, compassion, acceptance, and so on. The second layer is the psychological vitality principle. Nakapaloob dito yung pagkakaroon nila ng healthy mental and emotional state. And yung third layer naman is yung tinatawag na physiological vitality principle. Nakapaloob naman dito yung about sa kanilang body functioning. Sa Japanese personality naman, yung core concept nila ay tinatawag na ame. In English means sweet. Ito yung passive childlike dependence behavior na pinapakita ng tao sa ibang tao. Pinaka-common nito is yung relationship daw ng mother and child na kung saan yung mga anak ay ini-spoiled ng kanilang mga nanay. And another example naman is yung mag-boyfriend or mag-girlfriend sa school wherein yung lalaki daw lagi niyang binubuhat yung bag ng kanyang babae, though kaya naman daw buhatin ng babae yung kanyang bag nang walang kahirap-hirap. Moreover, may iba't ibang cultures pa na mayroong specific important concept na mahalagang mapag-aralan para maunawaan natin yung mga individuals mula sa iba't ibang cultures, such as the Korean, they have the Chong, human affection, Indian, Hishkama Karma, detachment, in Chinese, they have Renqing, relationship orientation, Mexican, Simpatia, harmony, avoidance of conflict, Filipino, pakikipagkapwa, shared identity, pakikiramdam, sensitivity and empathy, and pakikisama, going along with others. Integrating universal and culture-specific understandings of personality. Dahil sa mga arguments regarding sa kung ano ba yung dapat makonsider as universal or culture-specific na concept ng personality, we have what we call common ground, in which ito yung possible agreement between the two different concepts. Ito yung to look personality as a multi-dimensional construct means kailangan nating i-accept yung idea na meron itong iba't ibang aspects or dimensions. According sa book, personality has two different aspects. These two came from different sources and differently influenced by biology or culture. One is traits. Ito daw yung pinaka-enduring aspects of a person's personality. Nakapaloob dito yung kanina thoughts, feelings, and actions, and rooted ito sa biology and genetics. Simula kapag kapanganak pa lang natin ay mayroon na tayong set ng certain aspects of personality. And furthermore, since biologically based ito, hindi gaano maapektuhan or ma-influensya nito ng culture and environment. Second one is the identities. Ito yung nape-perceive nating roles sa buhay. Yung aggregate role and life experiences and so on. Malaking part daw ito ng tinatawag na cultural constructions, which means itong development ng identities ay nade-develop sa particular na culture. Nang dahil sa ating pakikipag-interact sa tao, natututunan natin yung na ma-identify kung ano yung tama sa mali, ano yung mabuti sa masama. Dito na unti-unting na-form or nade-develop natin kung anong identity yung meron tayo. Thus, it is clear that less influensya sa biology and more influensya sa culture. And for us to understand the relationship between culture and personality, we need to perceive the concept of personality, which are indigenous and universal aspects, as two sides of the same coin. Meaning, nag-exist sila sa same situations, but they have different ways kung paano makapag-cope up or makapag-deal with that certain situation. Para daw higit na maunawaan natin yung relationship ng dalawa, dapat natin kino-consider na nag exist at the same time ang universality and indigenization ng mga personalities. Dito natin ma-identify kung ano yung exact problem, kung paano ito na-conceptualize at pinag-aaralan ang mga coexistence nila. Sa research findings, yung evidence ng dalawang aspect na ito ay hindi naman nagko-contrary sa bawat isa. Yung validity ng isa is hindi naman nag-o-oppose sa validity ng kabila. As a conclusion, yung trait approaches like the FFM is more on universal aspects of personality, while yung indigenous aspects of personality naman is more on culture specific. Universal trait view of personality, dito minimin na ang mga traits ay nakapaloob dito ay nag-exist sa lahat ng culture and it can influence behavior in multiple contexts. Indigenous view of personality, yung traits naman ay hindi nag-exist sa lahat ng cultures and hindi siya nakaka-influence ng behaviors across different contexts. In addition, yung pagkakaiba ng mga cultures sa ating perception ay nauugnay sa indigenous culture-specific perspective sapagkat yung self-perception is considered daw siya as culturally variable in which these are influenced by cultural meaning and construction. That's all.